who have put decades of work, of their lifetime, their earnings, into making a difference, to serve others, and to make our world into a better place.
Namaskar. Good morning and welcome to Whisper Talks. My name is Trishant Shetty. Thank you all for attending today's event. For those of you who have attended a Whisper Talk before, a warm welcome back. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, here's a little bit about us. Whisper Talks is a space to expand the horizons of your mind. Every webinar, we call experts from different domains to discuss and examine opinions, issues, problems, and perspectives. Each webinar is an interactive session where we all walk away with respect for each other and a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss a session, please visit our website or YouTube channel for a full library of past Whisper Talks on interesting topics. Today on Whisper Talks, we will be discussing on the cause community development. Our speaker for today's Whisper Talks, Sri Maitreya Rudrabhayananda, will lead us through the session in just a few moments. Maitreya Rudrabhayananda is an Indian spiritual teacher and founder of the Soul Searchers and the Universal Center for Spiritual Research and Development, shortly UCSRD. He has a global following and teaches a universal path of spirituality that transcends any particular religion or tradition. He's an academician, humanitarian, naturopath, educator, author, and speaker with expertise in various fields such as astrology, yoga, NLP, and acupuncture. Before we get started, I would like to inform our audience that our speaker will be taking questions from you after our main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat or use the raise hand option and we will allow you to ask your questions in person. I request everyone to turn on your cameras while asking the questions. Now, without further ado, I invite our speaker to begin today's Vishwa Talk. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, Shanji. Thank you, Vishwa Talks, for allowing me to have a session with you. And today I will be talking on consciousness and how it can really transform our lives. Most of the people are aware about the conscious. And how do we define conscious is part of our own sensory perceptions. Whatever we can sense, we are becoming aware of from the birth till our death is considered to be conscious. So somewhere we lost the track that conscious, what we're talking about, is fully at the body level. While in traditional languages, when we talk about the 5 elements which are functional and which are connected to us. That means the earth, water, fire, and space. Now, on a energy level, when we talk about, we lose the track. Reason is consciousness works on 12 different levels of energies. So we have the 5 elements with us, the earth, water, fire, air, and space. Other than that, it also has its own consciousness. Each of these elements has its own consciousness, because of which it survives and it works on different platforms. Similarly, each of these elements also has its own energy, it has its own emotion, it has its own dimensions. And somehow they are all connected to each other. And since they are connected to each other, you'll find that there's a concept of refraction, reflection, and there's a matter content in that. So somewhere in the fire also you'll find the matter, you'll also find matter in air, you also find that it's part of the space, it's also part of the earth, it's also part of the water. Similarly, there is a emptiness also. Each of them has an empty space. So it works actually on the 12 dimensions. That means earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness, energy, emotion, dimension, refraction, reflection, void, and matter. So these 12 makes the conscious. Now the conscious at this level is still at the physical level. That means I can see the matter, I can feel the matter, I can know the matter. And more or less we are connected to that level only. We are surrounded by all the knowledge, all the wisdom which were given by the ancient sages and rishis, or from the messiahs, the prophets, the messengers. They all talked about conscience, but they were silent on what levels. Somehow they never explained how you can connect to each level of the conscious, which is becoming part of your life. And that is where the Kriya Lila Tekken came into being. That's the journey which I took place, which allowed me to understand that a body on its own is not just the physical entity, but it also has its own matter, it has its own emotion, it has on its own spirit form, it also has its own force, and then there's a soul to it. And all of them has a conscious. So by default, we are talking about 6 layers of consciousness functioning at multi-levels. And each of them has similar and different and conflicting effect on our lives. Somewhere who's going deep will find that he's connecting to inner and outer balance. That means he's connecting to the body level, mind, emotion, or at the spirit level. When I say about the body, so what does the body actually represent? It talks about 7 different levels of consciousness. One is the biggest is the I. We know that. We call it that as an ego. We call it's me, my survival instinct. That somebody, like I said, I can't hold my breath to die. my body will react, respond, and suddenly I need to breathe. Somebody can choke me, that is separate. So the survival is also a factor of trust. It's also a factor of fear, anxiousness. It's part of the emotional aspects of my life and the needs. I need to differentiate between the needs and the desire. So the needs are quite a part of me, which is part of the I level. If I remove that I, my needs are vanished. And somehow I need to connect to that core level of me. And then the me comes into being. That means the moment I'm born, I'm somehow connected to the relationship around me. I need to get an affinity to somebody. I need to relate to somebody. I need to connect with somebody. I need to be having a belongingness somewhere. I need to be acknowledged also. And then the moment the acknowledgement happens, I'm emotionally attached to it. So the I and me is covered in that. Then the myself comes into being. That means I should be accepted by the society. The society should be accepting me also. My thoughts can be different. And I need to adapt to the thoughts and process of the society also, so that I am livable in that particular society. So it becomes part of me. And once I'm getting accepted in the society, I need to be acknowledged also. So that's part of myself. Now, in all this journey, I still have a small area of I-ness. That means the journey for me. Somewhere I need to find a small place for me where I feel that, okay, I'm peace. I need to be alone some moments of time. I need to be, a moment of time should be there where I can think about myself, how I should be working on myself, what is my area of privacy. That means somebody coming close to me, I may not like it. We say that it's a zone of privacy. Now, that is again part of me. It's I-ness. It's a freedom. It's an independence. What we talk about independence now is part of that I-ness. And that I-ness is also part of the free will. And people who confuse the free will with the survival, they actually are in trouble. So they are actually struggling to make both the ends meet without reaching anywhere. Then the next level is the isness. That means inner self, where I'm trying to find the meaning of life. Why should I be there? How should I be there? Because I've read so many things from other sources. I need to experience it, feel it, know about it, connect to it. Somewhere the moment I connect to it, I also understand that the pride and the ego of the I has to be set aside so that I need not remain a social animal, but become a human. There's a huge difference. Till the time I have a need, I'm still an animal. The moment I have a desire coming up, that again is a part of animal only. Because the comfort zone given, animal also become lazy. They will also become, they will start devouring a lot of food and they will become fat and they can't move around. So it happens with the pets. The pets are not very strong. But animals who survive on daily instinct are working on their body level. They want to hunt, they want to eat, and they will go to sleep. That is their way. And we are also thinking that that need is our need. No. Our need has to be much more subtle when the isness comes. When I understand the meaning of life, it has to go within me. Somewhere it connects to me. Then a concept of AI comes, not the artificial intelligence, but the awakened intelligence. It's part of my awakened self, where I say that I need to connect to my oneness. Somewhere I am related to the energy around me, and I'm also part of that energy where I can contribute and also relate to the energy at some level of time. Then the last comes is being alive. It is a moment of surrendering, selflessness. What we talk about, all the things which we think as pure, is part of the selflessness, being alive. In traditional terms, it was called as Jiva Mukta. So these 7 become still part of the body level of consciousness. That means whatever we think from the birth till death is part of the body level. They are not touch the mind or the emotional or the spirit level of consciousness. So the consciousness is a very vast area. I'll be just taking, because it's a very short session we have now. So I'll be talking about transformation with the consciousness at the body level. So a physical body level, we know. We talk about diet, we talk about naturopathy treatments or allopathy treatment or any other treatment for being healthy. We also work on exercises, we work on breathing part, we work on a lot of therapies so that we become healthy. But we always say that the healthy body will have a healthy mind. The problem is the healthy mind will always have a healthy body. We need to have a healthy mind first before we get a healthy body. Because the best of the healthy body can suddenly tumble down to the pressures which comes from the internal sources. Because we don't require an outer source for us to crash. We require the internal source to crash us. So somehow we have a breakdown happening within us which shatters us. How do I disconnect from that? It's a crucial area which everyone faces today in a common terms, day-to-day life. Because early morning we wake up, we are struggling with our daily chores. That means from the making of the breakfast, running to the office, then struggling in the office, trying to find some time in between to get the lunch, then have a evening cup of tea if possible, and then run back 2 hours to the home. Again, struggling to make the dinner and then go to sleep. In between, we think, okay, early morning, I'll switch on the TV and start doing yoga with the TV set, or maybe go for a small walk once in a week, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday. But how will it help me? So best thing to start, I'll give you a few tips which can really work for you. When you wake up in the morning, first thing in the morning, start pressing all your finger and thumb. The tips basically, start pressing those with the nail point, the first phalange, that's the first phalange, and the thumb putting under, keep pressing it for 10 counts, release it. Pressing it for 10 counts, each finger, 10 counts, release it. Now, this may be called as a pressure point, but actually, these are the murmur centers. The murmur centers actually connect to our life force. Whatever we are inhaling and exhaling throughout the night, because there is a short period of time where our breathing becomes very deep. Then we go for deep sleep for 1.5 hours. In that moment of time, both the nostrils are breathing. Till that moment of time, when we are speaking right now or any other moment of time, one of the nostrils is active, other is dormant. So this is known as a nasal cycle. That 1.5 hours, both the nasal cycle are happening simultaneously. Now, when I wake up, my BP is low, my heart rate is slower, my breathing becomes shallow. So I have to activate those points. So first thing is pressing these fingers 10 for 10 counts. Once I pressed the thumb also, what I have to do is take the center of the palm of the other hand and now cover it. This center portion, cover it and then press, press, press. And this back side has to be pressed. Each of the gaps between the fingers has to be pressed so that you can feel the pressures. Once you feel the pressure, this is going to activate all the joints in your body so that rather than stretching yourself like this, you can just press these points so that the stretching happens at the shoulder. If you do it properly, you will find that once you press, that's a point between the index and the middle finger, you'll find that if you start pressing this, this works on the scapula, back scapula. If you press it hard, it's going to feel the pressure there. The movement has to be there. And once you do that, do it front and back 2 or 3 times, you will suddenly feel the pressure. Once you're done that, just release it, do a normal breathing for 5 times. Whatever saliva comes in the mouth, swallow that. Don't spit it out. Wake up, do your brushing, get back to your work. Whenever you get time in the office, what you have to do is sit on the edge of the chair, go on the toes. Bring both the knees together so that your spine becomes erect and you're sitting there. This gives you the same benefit what a Padmasana does. Allowing the spine to become stretched out, the legs joining together will allow the pressure happening at the toes. The toes, hamstring, calf muscles, thigh, lower back, all gets affected and you find the stretch happening. So within 2 minutes, if you sit like this, after the lunch also, you will find that the body relaxes. And if you feel that there's a heavy lunch happening, the one thing is, once you sit like this, apply the left hand on the navel, tap the chest 5 times, hold the breath for a count of 10, sit there, wait for another 10 minutes, and then release. You'll find that the digestion has become better. You don't require a Vajrasana to be done in the office because it's not possible. A lot of places we can't do that. Maybe on a weekend, definitely we can do all the process which we want. While coming back from the office to home, if you're traveling by metro, like most of the people are traveling by metro or by buses, if they are not driving, they definitely can sit on the edge, sit on the toes for at least 5 to 10 minutes. The more you are able to sit on the toes, it is going to work on your heels, it's going to work on your toes, it's going to work on your calf muscles, it's going to work on your thigh muscles. The tiredness of the feet will vanish. Now, this again is part of the I-ness. That means the need of the body. So the conscious functioning at the need of the body has to be functioned properly. Once the I-ness is gone, then I require the me to happen. That means once I come back home, I should not carry the burden of the office to the home or any other place throughout the day, whatever we carry, load, we should not bring it home. Or if I'm too stressed out also, what we have to do is, once you get back home, definitely you go and have a wash and then come back. So whenever you're freshening up, what you do is sprinkle the water on your face. When you sprinkle the water, the area on the forehead, that means one finger above the eyebrow, three fingers area, that means this three area up to the forehead area, keep on tapping it with the water. Keep on tapping it. Keep on the cheeks, keep on the jaws. So the three fingers will be tapping on the forehead, cheeks, and the jaw. And then stop. So you tap it here 3 times, 4 times, 3 times, 4 times, 3 times, 4 times, and then again sprinkle the water. Once you open your eyes, you find that the eyes tiredness will go off because we've been sitting on the computers, electronic gadgets, so tiredness would be there. So this will relax. And once it relaxes, before you come out of the washroom, hold yourself, stay there for a moment of time before you open the door. Inhale deeply, hold. Exhale from the mouth 5 times. So same time, 5 times once you do, when you come out, you find suddenly the burden is gone. What I do, I'm changing my thought process or attention of span from one point to another point. This change will allow me to be more relaxed. And that is a need of time. Now, then comes the myself, which is part of conditioning with the surrounding. So a lot of times we have people or visitors at home we may not like. It's also possible that we are not in a mood to talk to the people around us. So what you have to do? Keep breathing, but make sure that you are exhaling from the mouth. The more you are exhaling from the mouth, the myself values will rise up. That means, so just part the lips, keep on exhaling. Your attention will be on the breathing out and the body starts relaxing. Because if a person is not liked by you or you are not liked by the person, both conditions, exhaling from the mouth relaxes you better. Attention span goes to your breathing. Your mind becomes much more calmer and you feel comfortable in the same person's community or in vicinity. So even in an office also, you can do the same process. Maybe it's a very tough boss you have and you don't want to meet the person. Slowly relax. Otherwise, what will happen is you will carry the tension with you from the office to the home or from the home when the visitor comes and you're going to carry it to the bed. We don't want that. So the more you relax, so the myself will allow you to be acknowledged faster. When you're doing this, once you're relaxed, the other person also feel relaxed. Somehow he cannot find the same response coming from you. If the same response is not coming from your side, what will happen? He'll try to connect to the thought process that you have. The moment you have a thought process which they can connect to, they feel more comfortable. Maybe the relationship can become better without even communicating a single word. Once that communication happens of silence, of the breath, you find the relationship improves. And that is what is needed. Now, another thing is how to find myself. This is a subtle area for me. Everyone looks for it. For that kind of area, what we have to do is we have to rework on myself, whereby, again, we'll go back to the breath. Why I keep going back to the breath is because the breath is one connecting force which I can handle easily. Just calling out a particular conscious will not work for me. I cannot call my subtle conscious, please help me out. It will not work. The breathing only tries to connect to that source. And how it connects allows me to grow also. And when I want to connect to myself, let's say I'm doing some small puja or doing a ritual, or I want to meditate, I want to do something. So the first process you have to do is, whenever you're doing, sit comfortably, relax your body. How do I relax? First thing, the basic thing is slightly part your lips. Most of the stress happens at your jawline. The moment we are tensed up, we are getting angry, you find the jawline becomes very hard. Jawline becomes very hard. And we are not very sure why. But the moment you relax this, the mind also relaxes. So part your lips, sit comfortably, tilt your head backwards and forward. Do it 5-6 times, front and back. Now, once you do it from front and back, you'll find that the body slowly relaxes. And do it for 5 to 10 times before you find that the breathing has deepened. Once it deepens up, you definitely can come out and do the process. So you'll find that the focus is becoming better. The reason for any meditative process is to defocus and to bring the concept very clear to your heart. So the concentration will not help you, but a defocused mind, but a very aware mind will allow you to connect to your heart and the consciousness. And this is where the things will work for you. And that is how things will matter. I'm just taking small method which everyone can use in their daily life in the easiest manner. Now, the isness part, that means the meaning of life and everything. Now, how do I do that? Again, whenever you're lying down, make sure that before you go to sleep, come to the edge of the bed. Allow the head to get tilted and it goes back. That means it's lying downwards. Put both the hands on your navel. Close your eyes and keep on inhaling and exhaling. For a lot of people who have got spondylitis or maybe high BP or any heart problem, they can put a cushion below the neck and then tilt the head like this, rather than coming to the edge of the bed. So that will also allow the body not to be under stress. So once that is done, you keep on inhaling and exhaling for a few times, and then close your eyes, bring one thought of your mind or your heart. Maybe you want to find the purpose of your life. Bring the thought in, allow the thought to connect to the breath. Keep on breathing, and once you feel that the drowsiness is happening, just slide back to the bed, go to sleep. Do it for a week or 10 days. This is one of the easiest way to understand Atma Bodhana or understanding of the self. So once you come back to the bed, you will find that the energy starts functioning within you. The conscious and the breath, they simultaneously come out with different ways of words, meanings, concepts which you can relate to. And slowly you start understanding, okay, there is a purpose coming up, and somehow the surrounding also changes for you. Though this looks a very simple method, it has worked for so many other people. Definitely it can also work for you. So lie on the bed, do this process, and do it regularly for 8 to 10 days. Within 10 days, you will find a purpose in your life. One of the easiest method to find the isness, and which people keep on searching. You don't require books for it. All those people who have read books have become academicians. But those who have not read any of the books, they have got enlightenment. The awareness has happened because their connectivity to the self. The more I read, I try to argue. There's a logic to it. But when I become connected to the heart, somehow the heart expands and connects to my conscious. And that is where my life transforms. And that is what is required. Now, awakened state is much more difficult. That's the most common thing which everyone feels, okay, I've read somewhere that, okay, somebody felt experience like that. Or they got awakened by just a drop of a leaf, or they read somewhere that, okay, maybe they saw the light, maybe they got connected to it. Somebody thinks about idols also, somebody thinks about the deities also. But how do I connect to the awakened state? That again is one of the smallest method I can give is, again, I'll ask somebody to sit comfortably. And when they are sitting, make sure that you put your hands at your back and just slide yourself back. And in that, start swaying, front and back. And in that swaying, what you have to do is part your lips, keep on inhaling from the nose, exhaling from the mouth. And here, just have the purpose beforehand in front of you, and you suddenly find the purpose vanishes, merges back to you. And then what comes up is your awakened state. Once you come out, you will still want to be there only. The hands will move out, everything will move out. It's one of the easiest method, but definitely it works. Make sure you are sitting in a comfortable posture. Don't find a particular asana to sit which you are not comfortable in, because you want to be there in a peaceful state, not to struggle with your asanas. Once you understand the awakened state, then being alive comes. Without understanding of the being awakened state, one cannot connect with the state of being alive. So definitely there is no method to being alive. Alive being is meaning is that you are at that particular moment of time and space, and you are not disconnecting from there. And my path, whichever I have learned, is we talk about a process called Ryan. It's a part of the Kriya Lila Thakan, which talks about multi-layers of the consciousness. What we talk about right now is about 7 layers of consciousness. Then we talk about more than 5,449 layers of consciousness. And how one can connect to it is like peeling off the layers. And one person understands that, okay, somewhere and somehow I can connect to the levels of consciousness without having difficult postures, without doing any difficult asanas, but somehow directly communicating with my inner conscious. And that inner conscious is connecting to me to different layers of the consciousness. And each of the layer of the consciousness is going to communicate back to me. If I'm more open, the communication is much more clear. The more closed I am, it goes up to a certain extent and stops. It does not force you. It's your free will to go deep and to connect. How you connect again matters to you. So it's an expansive process. Very short method. Any person can do that for 20 minutes and go deep. It was one process which again came from the 3 concepts of energy, matter, and consciousness. And whatever we have been working on has been only on the energy, matter, and consciousness. This was just a small presentation on the concept of consciousness. I would like to end my lecture on this. Thank you.
I'll just share it in a moment. Yes, please. Mute. Give me the screen size. Just a moment, sir. The screen is second.
Thanks for sharing this.
Thank you, sir. So would you like to continue, or should I start with the poll and question answers? Oh, just a second. I can't hear you. Yes, please.
If any questions are there, we can answer that and then continue.
Sure. Just a minute. So before, I'd like to inform our audience that before we move to the question answers, I'd like to request you to take a 30 seconds poll for us. The purpose of the poll is to help us understand you a little better so that we can curate the topics better. You can also let us know in the chat box how you found out about Vishnu Talks. If you're a subscriber or you heard about it through your friends or family or social media. While you take the survey, I would like to express my gratitude to everybody who has joined us today for this webinar and for your presence and interactive contribution. I extend my gratitude to our speaker, Sri Maitreya Rudrabhayananda, for taking time to grace this event. I'd like to inform the audience a little bit more about Vishwa, our mission, how you can contribute. Vishwa is an online platform for everyday change makers and social champions. It's a crowdfunding and crowdsourcing platform that is aimed at helping anyone find the support they need in their efforts to fulfill dreams for themselves and for others, and in the process, make the world a better place. In addition to thought-provoking talks such as this one, we also want to extend the curiosity for exploration to our youth and young ones. We have recently launched Vishnu Talks Youth and Junior to facilitate learning and important conversations in the bright minds of a new generation. We also have Vishwa Material campaign, and we have conducted a very successful Ugadi material drive where lots of housing communities donated materials which were then redistributed amongst slum areas with the help of our partner NGOs such as Seva Bharti. Thank you everyone for contributing for the material donation drive. And we are still continuing with the material collection at our Banjara Hills office. I'd like to mention a couple of fundraisers that are going on vishwa.org. One is for Bal Vikas Educational Society for Disabled Children. The fundraiser is intended to help pay salaries for the devoted faculty of teachers and counselors, support them in the phenomenal work that they've been doing for the well-being of children and mentally disabled kids. By donate, you could contribute on the platform, and please support the teachers and staff and help in your own small way. You could also contribute to the network of Telangana people living with HIV/AIDS, NTP. Telangana state has 2,300 children living with HIV. The lack of general awareness about HIV has forced the children with HIV into the worst form of child labor and just to go support themselves. To give back these children their livelihoods they've lost, the network of Telangana people living with HIV has been providing nutritious food to 100 such children every month. They're looking for your help to support them in achieving and increasing their goals. Your contribution will help NTP take care of these kids and give them a safer future and reduce the struggles they have to face in their daily lives. I'd like to now start the question and answer session. Our audience members can use the raise hand option if they have any queries, or you could just type into the chat box and I will ask the question personally. Sir, I'd like to know a little more about these pressure points that you talked about. What more similar techniques are there which can help us be more aware or sensitive to our surroundings, or just
See, a lot of
look within
myths
us?
are See, a lot of methods and tools are there, definitely. But something what we can do by ourselves matters more. When we wake up, we don't look for needles for acupuncture. We don't require the acupressure material. What we require is a basic thing. Somebody just tightening the fist also is a pressure point only. Rather than opening up like this, both things, it's the same thing. If I press like this, or if I do like this, same thing, same reaction will happen. But a lot of people are not interested to do this and this. So I said, okay, press this. So one option comes. People are more relaxed to do something. They feel that, okay, this does not look good. You will find the child doing that on the ramp. When he's a toddler also, he does this. He keeps on doing this. The fist will be very tight. You can't open the fist very fast because they know it's a state of consciousness they want to connect to, and somehow they are connecting to the energy points. And that gives them the energy. And when they sleep also, its fist is like this. And if they hold the hand, it's very difficult to leave the hand. It's not easy. The hold is very tight. Even though it's a small child of maybe 6 months, you can't let go of the hand easily. It takes you time. So you can understand. Now imagine the same strength coming to you at this age. It matters. So that energy is working because it's a reversal flow. What happens is whatever we are gaining, like I said, in the night, 1.5 hours we sleep. In that duration of time, the breathing is happening from both the nostrils. But post that, one of the nostrils is active. Whichever nostril is active, if I continue to be a servant to that, that means maybe a left side is active. That means my right brain will be more active. Similarly, if the right nostril is active, then the left brain is more active. So that means I'm servant to one side of the brain. Somewhere I lose my control. My decision can go wrong. Somewhere my emotion can get overwhelming. Somewhere my problems must be higher. Then I can't answer the things properly. What I should be doing is, with all the problems in hand, I should be calm and quiet when the situation arises. So for that, I need to bring my breathing to both the nostrils whenever I want. So this is an easier way of doing it. So the moment I wake up, I do this, gulp the saliva which is in my mouth. It allows the breathing to get back to the state of the nostrils. So it keeps on revibrating back to the both nostrils functioning. It's also part of the tradition. If you look, it's part of the Swara Yoga. So it's a combination. So I'm talking about it is a very subtle way, but it's a part of the Swara Yoga. It's also part of the Nadi Vidya. It's part of the Marma Vidya. So it's functioning on multi areas. Just one pressing will work on a lot of things. That's the only reason.
There's a question by our audience member. How do we address you, sir?
Maitreya.
Okay.
Simple.
There's a question from Ms. Jaya. How do I know whether I am living in conscious awareness or in a state of conscious awareness?
We are always living in a state of conscious awareness. We are aware of our surrounding. We all see whatever is a conscious, whatever senses can perceive. If I'm sitting in front of a laptop, I know there's a keyboard there, there's a screen there, there's a mouse there. Who told me this? Somewhere somebody told me at one moment of time, the mouse looks like this. And it get embedded. Now my awareness is there. The mouse will feel like this. If there's a change in the feeling of the mouse, I may not like it. Maybe tomorrow we have a square mouse coming up. It may not be a successful thing because my comfort zone is like this. So the palm and the mouse has to connect. That's how the mind functions. If there is a change in shape, it's a difficult way to adapt and change. So that means I'm in that particular moment of now, which requires things to change to another moment of time, whereby it can connect to a square mouse. So anything, if you look at a recipe coming up, you find that a new thing entices you because it's a new thing. Even if it's a similar small thing like a idli coming up, and you have a square or a rectangle idli coming up, suddenly find, okay, let me see the taste. Thing would be same only, but the shape attracts. So you change. For that particular moment, let me taste it. After that, you know, I know it's the same taste. But assuming the taste is different, you will always search for that particular square or a rectangle idli. And that becomes famous. So that's how the marketing is done by the sweet shops. They have a sweet gujia, they have a raw salty gujia, they have a different flavored gujia, and they have a different stuffing of the gujia also. So they come out and say, okay, this is separate gujia, and we want to taste all of that. So everything what we do from the morning till night is part of our conscious. But when we say specific to a subtle conscious, that is quite different. Becoming aware of myself is more important. Once I, instead of the need, becomes I. That means the need vanishes. Then my awareness becomes none. Because I'm not worried about my death or life or struggle. I'm more worried about the I which is sitting inside quietly. So that now is quite different from the now which I'm struggling with every day. I hope I answered.
Sir, could you please elaborate conscious realization a little more?
Okay. Very, very basic level. When we say, I think more or less most of the people who might have attended my sessions would know this. I give out similar examples. When I have to tell a child, we always say that there are 5 fingers in our hand. But as we grow, we say that there are 4 fingers and 1 thumb. We added the thumb to it and we removed 1 finger. But did the child argue? No, he accepted the fact. Similarly, when a child is drawing some picture, we say that, okay, see, there are actually 5 fingers, the hand should look like this, the feet should look like this, and every children nearly draws a similar pattern, except for few exceptional artists by birth. They can come out with a real life thing, but normally a children drawn picture, you know, okay, this looks same only. The dress sense, the figure, the form, everything will be quite similar. Eyes will be in a different shapes and everything. Then we know how to curve the eyes. We start learning it, adapting it. So my conscious is evolving with my level of understanding. But for a lot of people who can't draw a straight line, telling them how to curve it is going to be a headache. Even for a lot of people who can't use a mouse, asking them to use on a laptop without a mouse, it becomes a headache. They can't click, they can't move, they can't stop. Is the conscious a problem? No. The problem is the mind saying that, no, I can't understand this screen. I need to adapt to my old screen only, which I'm comfortable with. So that is an awareness of senses, physical senses. Now, when you go deeper, you are going on a very subtle area. The subtlety tells you that, see, I'm connecting to that source which connects to me. And that is where the layers of conscious comes into. Again, very basic explanation, please.
Thank you. There's a question. What is subconscious? Maybe it's more like, what is the difference between conscious and subconscious?
Okay. Now, subconscious or a conscious, both are similar only, I would say. Anything related to the physical level, whatever we have, if we struggle throughout the day, definitely we dream something weird connected to our struggle. But we don't dream similar when we are too happy. We might have had the biggest success in our life. We don't dream a good dream. We might go to a good sleep. But the moment we are struggling, we'll have weird dreams coming up. And those two broken dreams and very weird ones, disconnected, but somehow I know that it's somewhere connected to my struggle. Maybe it's giving me some message. Okay. Now, where is this message coming from? The I, the inside I. So somewhere the I is telling you, see, there is a problem. These fragments which are given you, connect all of that, you might get a solution by yourself. Maybe you are seeing somebody you know, which you can relate to. Now, who do you see? Mostly those people which we remember at very small, younger days, whom we love. Maybe our long gone grandfather. Maybe somebody I met when I was very small. So I connect to that. And that becomes part of me. And that is where my expansion happens. So all that information which I collected from the age up till 5 is part of my subconscious. Post that is all of my conscious, which are functioning at day-to-day activities. So my growth is on a horizontal level rather than a vertical one. So somebody telling you that you are drawing up information from the subconscious is from the age of 0 to 5. That's it.
There's a question from Anju. Sir, can you guide on chakras?
Chakra is a very deep concept, with all due respect, and a lot of people just hold on to chakras at 6 or 7 chakras. Somebody talking about 6 chakras up to the Agya, and some talking about the 7 chakras. But in reality, there are more than 1,854 chakras. And when you bring it down to the sub-chakras of it, it goes to more than 7,000 plus. So the 7,864 chakras in all work with a lot of areas. And these all functioning are happening under a different kind of concept, working on the energy centers known as, or energy channels known as nadis. And each of those nadis have connecting points. So traditionally what we talk about, if I want to just give it in one line, they say about 7 chakras. Well, the 7th chakra, which is called the Sahasrara, is not called a chakra, but it's a combination of all the 6, which has passed through all the 6 to reach that 7th chakra. The Kundalini, the energy is sleeping at below the Muladhara in a dormant state in a 3.5 coil to rise up to connect to that. This I'm talking about the traditional terms. It has to pass through the 3 granthis, the Brahma, Rudra, and Vishnu granthi, to reach the ultimate state. Now the reality is quite different. The reality is like the 1,800 chakras are functioning together while the projected energies are happening at the 6. And they are functioning on the 72 granthis. The 72 granthis make you connect to one level or the other. The ultimate aim is to connect the Shakti to the Shiv. But all those people who claim that the energy has awakened, why are they still searching? If Shiva and Shakti got connected, why are they still searching? If they're searching, that means the Shiva and Shakti could not get connected. If the search is happening, if the queries come, that means you lost it. So that means what you attain may be at the first level of the Granthi, maybe at the 4th, or maybe at the 13th. But reaching up to the 54th means that you attained the awareness of yourself, which is called the self-realization or Atma Sakshatkar. So covering up all the 7 chakras will allow you to understand about Atma Sakshatkar. Definitely it's a big topic. I had come out with a book covering more than 547 chakras, more than 1,000 odd nadis, detailing hidden mysteries of Kundalini way back in 98. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from Subita. Can we use this technique to overcome stress, be more calm?
Yes, that is the reason. The whole concept why I told about all these methods was something you don't need to struggle. There is no chant, there is no religion. You're talking about a breath. Whatever stress is happening, you can get relaxed from it. Whatever tension is coming up, whatever kind of burden is there, you can let go of that. You can have a relaxed sleep. Somebody who's like nowadays, everybody has a lot of problems. Breathlessness is a problem. External factors, when you look, pollution is a factor. A lot of people can't sleep in the night. So all the methods which I spoke about allows you to have a good sleep, good relaxed state of mind throughout the day, good diet, good appetite, and good way of being healthy.
Thank you. Sir, could you kindly share the book name for the audience members regarding the chakras?
The Hidden Mysteries of Kundalini, Soul Searchers, The Hidden Mysteries of Kundalini. And we are already in the 19th edition. I'll just type it again.
Yeah, I'll type it. Hidden Mysteries of Kundalini.
Sorry.
There's a question from Anju again. If one's breath from left nostril, one's breathe from left nostril, then do we need to work on pranayama? I believe.
See, if you nobody can breathe through the left nostril continuously. Every 45 minutes to 90 minutes, the breathing shifts. Unless and until you got a tilt in the bone. Otherwise, definitely you will be shifting the breath. One. By chance, if you have a physical problem or a medical problem, then definitely it's an issue. Like one nostril is continuously blocked. So definitely the pranayama also will be of little help. But definitely when you look at the neti part of it, it can really help you physical level So Jal Neti definitely can really help done if done properly. That is one thing. Second thing is make sure that you are breathing to the navel. That means expanding the breath. Though physically it's not possible that the breathing will go down to the navel, but you should feel that the breath goes to the navel. The breathing will allow the navel area to get expanded. The abdomen should be expanding. So if you can expand that breath, you will find that both the nostrils will start functioning better. And one more small method I can add to is the area between this. That means the brim of the nose. Start massaging it with the middle finger from like this point. You start massaging it, and then start breathing. You'll find the breathing will shift to the right.
There's a question from Raja Sulochana. Is there another way of connecting to your inner self?
There are many methods. Not one. There are many methods. Definitely, it's such a short period of time covering up all the layers is not easy. And achievement of one, I always believe one thing is take one method, perfect it to the level where you know that I need not repeat it again. Because that becomes part of it. Then if you think that okay, I need to have another one, you can. Otherwise, that one single method is enough for lifetime.
I think we are done with the questions, sir. Thank you so much for your time. That was a very insightful session. It was very enlightening. I'd like to request all our audience members to follow Sir's Instagram handle, social media, Facebook. Also, you can find the presentations made by him on YouTube. You can also see the books he's written on Google itself. And I'd like to inform the audience members about the upcoming talks. The next talk is on 27th of May. The cause is human rights and social welfare, also community development. Speaker's name is Pankti Gohil. She's the founder and CEO of organization Empower Now. The topic, she'll be talking on prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. The next topic right after that is Introduction to Human Permaculture Interaction. The speaker's name is Bernard Alonso from the Permaculture Humane International. The date is 3rd June 2023. Right after that, we have a talk by an animal rescuer named Vivek Jayal, who's also done a session with us on pet care before. He's going to be talking on snake awareness and first aid in case of snake bites. Right after that, we have a talk on video games and their positive and negative aspects by Dr. Aditya Deshpande from organization Teacher Plus. The date is 17th June 2023. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to Vishwa Talks to get alerts on every new and exciting talk, exclusive events, and access to the Vishwa community. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn for future updates. Thank you so much for attending today's event. I'd like to request Sir to join the breakout room link that we send you right away. Thank you so much.